I had been driving home from my uncle's funeral. 3 hours into the ride, the rain had just started. Light at first, then heavy. He raised me after my mum passed. Burying him hit harder than I thought. The fuel light came on outside a small town. One exit, one sign, gas, food, lodging, all three at the same place. The lot was almost empty. One pickup truck near the office, a few cars at the back fence. They looked dusty, not the kind of dusty from a long trip, the kind from sitting too long. I pulled up to pump 3. A man came out of the booth, tall, mid-50s, yellow rain jacket. He smiled too wide for the weather. "Filling her up?" he asked. I nodded and handed him my card. He started the pump himself. He stood by my window the whole time. He kept glancing at my back seat. The duffel, the black suit on the hanger. "Funeral?" he asked. "Yeah, long way to drive after one of those." His eyes did not match his voice. The voice was kind, the eyes were scanning. The pump clicked off. He topped it up by hand. Twice. He handed me my card. "Drive safe out there," he said. I turned the key. The engine cranked, then died. I tried again. Cranked, died. He was still standing by my window, like he had been waiting for it. "Yeah," he said. "We get a lot of that here." "What do you mean?" "Bad fuel comes through sometimes. From the supplier. Won't know till morning." "One," he pointed across the lot. "Boss runs the motel too. Cheap rooms. Tell him Earl sent you." A clap of thunder rolled overhead. The rain doubled. I had no other option. My phone showed 1 bar. The nearest town was 20 miles back. I grabbed my duffel and ran across the lot. The motel office had a buzzing neon sign. Half the letters were dead. An older man sat behind a glass partition. He looked up slowly when I walked in. "Earl sent me," I said. "My car won't start." He nodded like he already knew. He slid a key across the counter. "Room 12. No paperwork, no card. Cash is fine in the morning," he said. I tried to ask about the car. He cut me off. "Earl will look at it tomorrow. Get some sleep." Room 12 was at the end of the row. The door stuck on the frame. I had to shove it open. The smell hit me first. Bleach. Heavy bleach. Like someone had cleaned hard and recent. The room had 2 beds, one stripped down to the mattress, the other made up too tight. The bathroom door was new, brighter than the rest of the wood. Someone had replaced it. I dropped my bag on the made bed. The window faced the parking lot. I could see Earl walking the pumps. He was on his phone. He kept looking back at my car. I sat on the bed and tried my phone. Still 1 bar. Texts would not send. The rain hammered the roof. A knock at the door. 3 slow taps. I froze. "Who is it?" "Front desk. Forms for the room." The voice did not match the older man. It was younger. It was Earl. "Just slide them under," I said. A long silence. Then footsteps walking away. I went to the window. Earl was crossing the lot back to the gas station. He had no papers in his hand. I locked the deadbolt. I locked the chain. I pushed the desk against the door. The lights flickered. Thunder cracked again. I sat on the bed with my back to the wall. I stared at the bathroom door, the new one, bright in the dim room. I got up and tried the handle. It opened into a tiny bathroom. Toilet, sink, tub, a small window above the tub, big enough to crawl through. I noticed something else. The wall behind the tub had a panel, about 3 feet square, painted to blend in, but the seams were visible. A hatch. My stomach dropped. I pressed my hand against it. It moved, just slightly, hinged from the other side. Someone could open it from behind. The cleaning hatch went into the next room. I backed out fast. My hands were shaking. I looked at the bed I had been sitting on. I looked at the panel. A line of something dark ran along the floor, going from the bathroom to the made bed. Not water. It was old blood. Soaked into the carpet seam, cleaned but not gone. I stood there for a moment, listening. I heard something behind the panel. Not movement, a slow draft. like someone breathing through a crack. I did not wait to find out. I grabbed my bag. I climbed onto the toilet. I pushed the bathroom window open. Cold rain hit my face. The drop was about 6 feet. I went out feet first, hit the gravel hard, rolled, got up running. I ran behind the row of rooms, past a chain link fence, into the field behind the motel. I did not look back. Halfway across the field, I dropped behind a fallen tree. I lay flat in the wet grass. My chest was burning. I peeked over the trunk. Earl was standing in the parking lot. He had a flashlight. He was sweeping the cars at the back fence, counting them. The older man came out of the office. They talked for a moment. They both walked toward room 12. Earl had a key. They opened the door together. I waited until they went inside. Then I ran. Through the field, through a creek, up a slope to the highway. A semi was coming. I waved both arms in the headlights. He hit the brakes. Air brakes hissed. The driver let me in. I told him to drive. Just drive. He did. I called the police from his cab. They sent units to the location. By the time they arrived, the gas station was closed. Lights off. Earl was gone. The older man was gone. My car was gone. The cars at the back fence stayed. 6 of them, all registered to people reported missing. Going back 4 years, all within 50 miles of that exit. The hatch behind the tub connected to a service hallway. The hallway ran behind every room. Whoever was using it could enter any room without unlocking the door. Earl and the boss were never found. The plates on my car turned up 2 states over. The car itself never did. I still drive. I have to, but I never stop at a station with a motel attached, and I never let an attendant pump my gas. I watch them from the second they touch the hose. I watch their eyes. I travel for work 2 weeks a month. I have been doing it for 15 years. My wife passed last spring. The hotels feel longer now. The empty bed across the room is the worst part. This week was a city I had been to twice before. A mid-tier business hotel, 8th floor, room 822, king bed, desk, 2 windows, and a connecting door on the left wall. I always check connecting doors first thing. Most travelers do not. You should. On my side, it had a deadbolt. I turned it. Locked. I never gave the next room a second thought. The first night was normal. I worked late, ordered room service, watched the news, slept by 11. I got up at 6, showered, went to my meetings, came back at 7 that evening. The bottle of water on the nightstand was empty. I stopped in the doorway. I had bought 2 from the lobby fridge. One was in the mini fridge. The other was on the nightstand. I had taken 2 sips before bed, capped it. It was empty now. The cap was on the floor by the bed. Housekeeping had not been in. I had the privacy tag on the door. I checked it, still hanging. I told myself I had finished it. Maybe in the night. I do that sometimes. I let it go. That night I worked at the desk until midnight. I climbed into bed. A lamp by the connecting door cast a strip of light. I noticed something on the floor. A black hairband, the kind women use. Not on my side of the bed. On the other side. I do not have a wife anymore. I have not had a guest in 18 months. I picked it up with a tissue, put it on the desk. My pulse was up. I checked the connecting door. Deadbolt still turned, still locked from my side. But the chain on the entry door, I was not sure I had set it the night before. I sat up most of that night. The room felt watched. I could not name why. Just that feeling on the back of your neck, like something is wrong but the thing has not happened yet. I checked the bathroom. I checked under the bed. I checked behind the curtains. Nothing, but I could not shake the feeling. At 3 in the morning, I thought I heard a soft cough on the other side of the connecting door. Then silence. I did not sleep. In the morning, I went to the front desk. I asked who was in the room next to me. The woman at the desk smiled politely. She typed for a moment. 824 is unoccupied, sir. Has been all week. I asked when it was last cleaned. She checked. 6 days ago. I went back upstairs slowly. I stood outside 8:24. The privacy tag was hanging on the handle. An empty room with a privacy tag. I went into my room. I sat on the bed. I thought. I had a phone meeting that afternoon. I had to be on the road by Friday, but I needed to know. That night, I set my phone up on the desk, camera facing the connecting door, recording. I went to bed at 11. I did not actually sleep. I lay still with my eyes mostly closed. At 2:17, the deadbolt on the connecting door turned. I heard it. Soft metal click. Then the door opened a few inches. I did not move. I could not move. A figure stood in the gap, backlit from the next room. Tall, thin, dark clothes, just standing there, watching me sleep. He stepped into the room, slow, careful steps. He went to the desk. He picked up my wallet. He looked at the cards. He put it back exactly where it was. He went to the closet. He looked through the suit hanging there. He felt the inside pockets. He went to the bathroom. The door was open. He stood at the counter for a long time. I could not see what he was doing. He came back to the bed. He stood at the foot of it. He stayed there for almost a minute. I kept my breathing slow, the way you breathe when you sleep. I have never been so afraid in my life. He turned. He walked back to the connecting door. He stepped through. He closed it. He turned the deadbolt back on my side. Then I heard him do the same on his side. He had a tool, some kind of rod through the gap in the door, long enough to turn my deadbolt without opening it. I waited 5 full minutes. I did not move. Then I rolled off the bed onto the floor. I crawled to the bathroom. I locked myself in. I called the front desk. I called the police. Security came up first. They knocked. I would not open until I heard police voices. When they searched 824, it was empty, but they found things. A duffel bag in the closet, sandwiches, bottled water, a small notebook. The notebook had room numbers and times and small descriptions, like a guest log. My room was on page 4. The hotel found a service door at the end of the hall. It opened with a maintenance badge. The badge had been reported stolen 6 months earlier. The man had been moving between empty rooms, using them as a base, visiting occupied rooms at night. They never caught him. He must have left while security was on the way up. I do not stay in hotels with connecting doors anymore. I sleep in my car if I have to, and I never trust a deadbolt I turned myself. I knew I had locked it. I lock them every time. He locked it for me on his way out. I had not seen my best friend in 8 years. We grew up in the same town. Then I moved across the country for work. Life pulled us apart. Her wedding was the first time I would see her again. I flew in on Thursday night. The wedding was Saturday. I booked 4 nights at a hotel downtown. 11th floor, room 1108. The hotel was newer. Glass elevators, marble lobby, 20-something floors. I checked in around 8. The clerk was friendly. He used my name twice while we talked, out loud. I noticed because 2 other people were in the lobby, both checking their phones. Friday I spent with my friend. Lunch, the rehearsal dinner. I got back to the hotel around 11:30, 2 glasses of wine in, tired but happy. The lobby was quiet at that hour. A few people in the bar. A man near the front desk reading a newspaper. He looked up when I walked in. His eyes followed me to the elevator. I told myself it was nothing. Hotels are public. People watch each other. I pressed the button for the 11th floor. The doors started to close. A hand caught them. A man slipped in, tall, plain coat, no bag. He stood at the back wall. He did not press a button. The doors closed. I watched the panel. The 11 was already lit. He was going to my floor, but he had not pressed it. I held my purse a little tighter. I kept my eyes on the numbers. 3, 4, 5. He was perfectly still behind me. I could see his reflection in the chrome. He was looking at me. The elevator dinged. I stepped out. He stepped out behind me. I turned right toward my room. He turned right. I walked. He walked. Same pace. I slowed down. He slowed down. I sped up. He sped up. The hallway was long and empty. Doors on both sides. I could hear his footsteps on the carpet. soft but matched to mine. I thought about screaming. I thought about running, but running would tell him which room was mine. I stopped at 11:08. I pretended to dig in my purse for the key. He stopped too, 3 doors down. I turned around. My voice came out steadier than I felt. "Are you on this floor?" I asked. He smiled. 11:09, he said. That was the room across from mine. I waited for him to take out a key. He did not. "After you," I said. He smiled again. He did not move. I kept staring. He kept smiling. Neither of us moved for what felt like a full minute. Then he turned. He walked back toward the elevator. He pressed the button. The doors opened. He got on. The doors closed. I stood in the hallway shaking. I unlocked my door. I went in. I locked everything. The deadbolt, the chain, the latch. I sat on the bed for a long time. I did not sleep. In the morning I went down to the front desk. A different clerk this time. A woman. I told her what happened. I asked who was staying in 11:09. She typed for a moment. "That room is unoccupied, ma'am. It has been all week." My stomach turned over. She offered to move me to a different floor, a different room, different keycard. She walked me up herself. I went to the wedding that afternoon. I smiled in all the photos. But every time I looked across the room, I scanned faces. I was looking for him. The reception ran late. I shared a cab back with 2 of the bridesmaids. We laughed in the back seat. But every time the cab stopped at a light, I checked the cars around us. I did not stop checking until I was back in my room, with the door locked, the chain set, the latch. Sunday morning I checked out early. I asked the front desk to walk me to my taxi. They did. The clerk who had checked me in on Thursday was at the desk again. The friendly one. The one who said my name out loud twice. I asked to see security footage of Friday night. The 11th floor hallway. The hotel manager came out. He let me watch the relevant section. The man got off the elevator behind me. He followed me down the hall. He stopped when I stopped. He smiled when I asked him a question. He left when I called his bluff. But before all that, earlier in the day, the same man was in the lobby for almost 3 hours. He never approached the desk. He never spoke to anyone. He sat with a newspaper. He watched the front entrance. He watched check-in. He watched me check in on Thursday. He had been waiting for me ever since. The police looked into it. They never identified him. The hotel pulled all his footage. He had been there 4 days. He never rented a room. He never bought anything. He just sat in the lobby and he picked one woman. I do not know why he picked me. I never will. But he knew my name before I ever spoke to him.